So, my thoughts on Blaster Master. Um, I love the foundation of this game. I think it has his premise is kind of goofy, like goofy '80s premise, like uh, Frog gets into becomes mutant. That's very Ninja Turtles inspired. I would say goes into the sewer, has to fight all these mutants, and he has to team up with like this super car that came from like nowhere. It's a very ridiculous premise, but I jive with it. It's pretty cool all the same. As far as the game itself, I love the basis of it. That you have your car that you move around, Sophia, the car that is, and she can get upgrades. So it's very Metroid like in that sense, but I don't know, like as far as the mazes were concerned, they didn't seem to have the same kind of level of polish that a Metroid May has. I was just getting lost, and there didn't seem to be any really guiding things to like really get you. It's very old in that regard, but again, I do like the premise of it. How you're basically going through the tunnel. You can switch between Jason or Sophia as whenever you want. Use your special weapons, and then when I try that special version, you can see how powerful the character becomes if you stick with the game. You can get wall crawling abilities. You can fire missiles. You can hover. Like there's a lot of cool stuff waiting for you for those who like stick with it. That being said, I think this game it has a good basis, but there's just not a lot of polish to it, in my opinion. Like way too easy to get lost in this game. Like this is even the case in like its basis, which I feel is its basis, Metroid, but even more so with this game. I do like how you can shoot everywhere. Again, the control's fine, but the two main polished things is the fact that you can get lost way too easily in this game, and then you can just get lost, and it's just kind of like another thing, the fact that the weapons are like really it's dense. The menus are super dense in the sense like I didn't know how to do the missiles. Like I was pressing every button, I didn't know how to activate it. The game really doesn't tell you anything. You have to if you want to know how to even play this game without an instruction booklet, because of course you're playing this on the NES Classic Edition, or not a Classic Edition, the Nintendo Switch, the NES service. You need to find like an online guide because you don't know what to do. I was struck for minutes. Like I don't usually go to my guides during these sessions, but I was just like, how do I use this freaking weapon? So I had to check, and that was like, and then I pressed the button. It didn't work, and apparently you can only use the missiles when you're actually in front of enemies, and it still wasn't enough to defeat that enemy over there. So I don't know where that game was leading me to. That's what I'm saying. It's a little too dense. It's a little too unfriendly to you actually finishing the game. I do like the basis of Blaster Master. I do. But it's way too dense. It's in some way, if I would say controls is more fun to play than Metroid, but it's even harder to progress than Metroid, which is crazy to me. So I don't know how much Blaster Master Zero was a very revered game. I hear it's like a remake of this game in a sense. I'm assuming that pretty much everything I'm complaining about was probably fixed in Blaster Master Zero, if not made better. That is of course still on Switch. I might even recommend you play that over this if you go on your on your Switch, start up this game, and you find you're really enjoying it, then consider this a trial. Because then Blaster Master Zero might be for you because it's that same concept but just improved. As this game is, it's a nice basis, but I don't think on its own it holds up. I think it's a perfect... I'm glad... I've talked about this many times on this show about how there's a lot of cool concepts in these old NES games. A lot of them, like the Mario games, Zelda games, have only been iterated on over time and gotten better and better and better as we've gone on. But there's a lot of NES games on here that have not been improved upon, that have just stayed these standalone NES games and never got a sequel, never got a remake, never got anything, and they could always stand for the polish. Blaster Master is an example of a game that did get that. It got it. It had enough of a cult following, evidently, that they made Blaster Master Zero and did exactly what I'm saying, like to take the core concept you have, which is good, and make it better. But this game on its own, I don't think it holds up. I don't, because it's just too much. It's too dense. There's too many issues. There's too many little issues that really keep this game from greatness, despite its cool concept. But Blaster Master Zero fixes all that, to my knowledge. So yeah, if this game it intrigues you, give it a try, and if you like it, Go get Blaster Master Zero. I can't recommend this. I can't recommend this game as is. Like not when there's a better version out there. You know, like again, what I've been saying. Standalone NES games, no sequels, but a cool concept. They're worth completing because what else are you gonna do if you really like that concept? But this game, like, I think you should just do Zero if you really like this concept, and then Zero too if you really like that game. So Blaster Master, great concept, but the game itself, I don't think it holds up. I don't. That's my thoughts. And